Hi there and welcome back. Let's say that you launched a new mobile application in Apple App Store. In the first week or so, you're going to be seeing that you're going to be getting quite a lot of downloads organically. It is because Apple gives a boost to your mobile app in the first week or so. But starting from the second week, you will quickly recognize that you're not going to be getting that many downloads anymore. As a matter of fact, in most cases, the number of downloads you're going to be getting daily will go probably down to zero. But not only downloads, even your impressions will go down to zero, meaning that no one will be seeing your app in the search results. And the math is quite simple here. Is no one is seeing your app, no one will be downloading it, and your revenue will remain at zero. If you did a good job with ASO, App Search Optimization, over the time, you will recognize that you will start ranking for certain keywords at higher positions, which will start giving you organic downloads. But this may take several months, and there is no guarantee. The second option, if you don't have this time to wait, then you can actually try to run some paid ads. If you want to run paid ads, then you have two categories. The first category is Apple Search Ads, and the other category is the others, as I call it. Meta is a platform where you can run ads in Facebook and Instagram and so on. YouTube, Google, Reddit, X. Even if the options are, quite many, I still categorize them into two categories here. Because if you're running your ad in Apple Search Ads, following the performance of your ad campaign is quite easy. You don't need to ask your user for user consent to follow the performance of your ad, because everything is run within the ecosystem of Apple. Apple takes care of everything, so you can see how many downloads you're getting from your ad campaigns and how many of those people actually end up paying for your app, so that you can do the math if your investment for running the ad is really returning the value that you're expecting. But if you're running your ad in a different platform other than Apple Search Ads, like Meta or YouTube or Reddit, X, wherever it is, if you want to follow the impact, or if you want to track the impact of these ads, you sort of need to have a tracking mechanism. Your app needs to understand that a certain user is coming from a certain place, so that you can recognize it in your app, and then in the platform where you're running this app later on, you can follow the return of investment for your ad campaigns. Let's say you're running an ad campaign in Facebook. As an example, it can be another platform as well. So certain people will be seeing your ad, and some of those people will click on the link within the ad and maybe end up in the Apple App Store and download your app and will maybe make a purchase. To be able to optimize this algorithm, obviously Facebook or any other platform, wherever you are running this ad, needs to understand the impact of these ads, which kinds of people are really ending up making a purchase within your app. So they can obviously observe which kind of people click on the link within the ad itself. But if there's no tracking mechanism here, they can't really follow if they really download the app. First of all, even if they download, are any of those people really making a purchase within the app? So without this tracking mechanism for Facebook or any other platform where you are running your ad, it's going to be very difficult to optimize the algorithms to show your ad to the right people. You can ask the question, okay, but is tracking not possible? Isn't this a technical problem? Yes, it is. There are actually mechanisms to track what people are doing when their journey starts at Facebook or any other platform where you're running your ad and they end up in your app, and you can track what they're really doing and which one of those users end up making a purchase in your app and so on. So from a technical point of view, there's no problem actually. But then we have the other side of the problem, which is privacy. So if you're running Apple Search Ads, as mentioned, you don't need to ask your users for their consent when they press on an ad, because everything is happening within the Apple's ecosystem. So you don't need to ask for user consent. But if you are running an ad in another platform, and if you want to track the success of your ads, you need to have this tracking mechanism in place. For example, you maybe need to install an SDK of the ad platform, so that the platform where you're running these ads can follow which ones of those users are really making the purchase, so that they can optimize their algorithms and they can show these ads to the right people. And if you're going to have this tracking mechanism in place, you need to ask for user consent. Maybe track you. And let's be honest here. You obviously have a phone. Whenever you see a window where the system is asking you if it is okay or not that the app can track your journey within the app, do you answer yes to that question, or do you answer no? There are actually statistics around it. A very small portion of people actually end up answering yes to those questions, which leads to the problem that you are maybe running very expensive ads and you set up the technical infrastructure in place so that you can track them as long as users give their consent so that you can keep tracking to be able to measure the success of your ads. But if people keep saying no to these, consent questions, then even if you have this technical infrastructure in place, you won't be able to track them in the way you need to. Which means you won't be able to feed the algorithms with the correct information where you're running the ads. So the ad platform here will try to optimize their algorithms mostly based on the clicks, not based on the revenue that the ad is actually generating. Yes, some of those users will be accepting the tracking question, but most of them won't be doing that. You can still be successful with your ads, yes, but this means that you need to spend a lot more money in your ad campaigns so that this small portion of users who says yes to the consent question can feed the algorithm in the right way so that they can keep showing the ads to the right people. But let's say that 10% of users are accepting the consent questions. If 100 people clicks your ad in the Facebook or wherever it is you're running your ad, and 100 people are coming to your app actually, let's assume that all 100 installed your app as well, but only 10 of them accepted the consent question. And the information about these 10 people will go to Facebook so that Facebook can optimize their algorithms. So the number is not 100, the number is only 10. And 10 maybe is an insignificant number. And let's say, for the sake of example, 100 is a good number. 100 is enough for Facebook to optimize their algorithms in the right way. But 10 people, it's not enough. If you want to reach 100 people so that Facebook can optimize their algorithms, it sort of means that you need to bring 1,000 people to your app, because let's assume, we assume, at least in our example, only 10% of users accept user consent. 10% out of 1,000 is going to make 100, so that these 100 people accept the user consent question and their tracking data will be transferred to Facebook in this case. So without this tracking problem, even 100 people would be enough for Facebook to optimize their algorithms. But since we have this tracking issue and we need to get the user consent, we need to bring a lot more people to the application because only a small portion of them will be accepting the consent question. In short, if you're going to run paid ads, you need to be prepared to spend quite a lot of money to get the value from your campaigns that you're expecting. Most of the experts that I see here and there keep saying that if you don't have, $10,000 to $15,000 per month, say, to spend on Facebook ads as an example, then it is very likely that you're not going to see any positive impact of your ads in most cases. At this point in time, you can say, what the heck? I can just go and run some Apple search ads in this case because I don't need to ask for user consent and Apple knows everything about its users, so no problem there. You are sort of right. Yes, it may pay off. But on the other hand, Apple search ads is not a really cheap platform. You are not the only one thinking in this way. A lot of other people are trying to run their ads with, Apple search ads. And if you want to compete for certain keywords with other people, you need to be prepared for spending quite a lot of money there as well. So if you have the budget, this is not a big issue. But if you don't have the budget, running paid ads is a very difficult task to achieve. So the underlying challenge here is the privacy. For privacy reasons, you need to show the consent question and there's no way around. You have to show this consent question to your users, because you have to do this according to the guidelines of Apple. You have to do this according to, a lot of different regulations around the world, including GDPR. So if you don't have enough money to run these paid ads, then this is going to remain as a very difficult challenge for you. So you have an app which is not getting any downloads, and you're not able to run ad campaigns because it is too expensive to do. What can you do here? You can try to reach other people organically through, X or YouTube or Facebook or whatever it is. If you can create a community around your products, how you're thinking and which kinds of products you develop, it may be somewhat easier for you to get the first downloads to your newly published app. And let's be realistic, you're not going to be getting that many downloads, at least in the beginning. So one thing that can help you here to optimize your application is to look at the analytics data of your app. You will see some basic analytics in the App Store Connect, but it's not going to be enough. So you need to develop the infrastructure in your app so that you can see some analytics data from your app so that you understand how users are using your app, where in the app users drop, and which journey they actually make before they make a purchase, in which parts of the app they actually make a purchase, if they make a purchase at all. And to be able to understand all these things, you have to have the analytics in place. But analytics is another problem wrong, because if you're tracking people, or if the platform that you're using is trying to track people like Firebase Analytics and similar, then you have to ask your users for their consent as well to be able to collect the analytics data. Don't get me wrong, it is totally okay to use solutions like Firebase Analytics, Mixpanel, or PostHog, or similar solutions. But in many of those cases, you have to ask your users for their consent so that you can collect the analytics data, because most of these solutions will be using persistent identifiers, which can be used to identify individuals later on by using the data. You can ask if the situation is really hopeless. Not really. You can still use privacy-friendly analytics solutions to get the analytics data from your mobile apps so that you understand what the heck is really going on in your apps when people use it. Analytics data is going to help you a lot. Which brings me to the last part of my presentation here, which is the Respectlytics, the new platform that I'm working on, so that you get the chance to see how people are using your app, which journey they make any purchase or not. Even if you are getting really few downloads, by looking at the analytics data, you can quickly understand where you lose your users and how and when they make a purchase in the app, so that you can optimize things, and maybe you can try to increase your revenue just by optimizing the user experience in your mobile app. So privacy is a huge question, and I guess it will only get bigger and bigger over time. So we're going to be talking about privacy quite a lot in this channel moving forward. Thanks for listening. See you next time.